Okay, I think it is time for us to start. I hope those who went out for a quick break will come back. I'm Guy Berger. I'm Director for Freedom of Expression and Media Development here at UNESCO. And this is the closing session. For those of you who don't know, it's Independence Day for Latvia. So those colleagues who are here from Latvia, we appreciate you being here because I'm sure if it was not for this conference, you would be having a good time with your families, celebrating. So happy Independence Day. And thank you to the Latvian colleagues for joining us here, and of course for hosting us, but I'll come to that later. So I'm joined on stage here by two colleagues from Latvia, actually, Ms. Anda Rožukalne. Did I get it nearly right? Rožukalne.
Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues.
She is the chair of the Latvian Association of Journalists, and she'll say a few words as part of the final closing. And I also have here Mr. Ikars Kublinč. I hope I got that correct. And he is a Latvian journalist who was involved in the committee that helped to develop the Riga Declaration, which is the main business for what we're going to do in a minute. After that, I will make some general remarks of thanks, but then I'm going to call on two other people to come up on stage to do the official closing. So we want to try and finish it within 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and I think we'll be able to. Let me, in the beginning, ask Mr. Ikars Kublinč to tell us a bit about the process of this development of the Riga Declaration. I hope you all have copies. Everybody got copies? If you do not, there are copies at the door and at the back. I hope you've had time to look at it. It's evolved over several editions. This is the edition that is now before us. So, Mr. Kublinč, please, will you tell us, you were in the panel of people who took the feedback on this, and you were deeply involved in developing the final version. Thank you.
Yes, we had a declaration drafting committee of 6 people team. They were following Faxon Band as a UNESCO facilitator, Ikars Kublinč, that's me, Jamal Eddin Naji, David Kay, Courtney Raj, and Corletta Olivier. And in the process, we had an initial draft from UNESCO, and then we sent in our comments and additions to this initial draft. And that resulted in the second version of the draft, which was distributed yesterday morning for all of you, with a call to send in the comments from your side. And the deadline for such submissions was until 10:30 today. And today we had a meeting where we reviewed your comments and we discussed them and amended or refined where it was necessary. And this final draft is a result of this working process of ours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the point of these declarations, every Press Freedom Day we come with a declaration. It's to have a consultative process. People can make their comments. We choose a team of people who are representative of different communities, and we ask them to take charge and to make their own comments. And the point of really these declarations is it's not to cover every issue in the world. It's to cover the issues that were discussed at the conference. It's to find also those points that people can agree on, because this being many different people, we are not going to put in a point that some will disagree with very violently. Because the point is to find the sweet spot that everyone can move ahead on. Now, this Riga Declaration is not a binding document. It does not force you to go and lay down your life for this. We hope it will influence you, but you do not have to go back to your employer or your capitals to say, this is the document, and can we get permission to agree this document? It's a non-binding document. It's a milestone. It's a milestone to say we had all these deliberations the past few days. This is some of the points that were made at the conference. So that's the status of it. So I hope nobody feels too uncomfortable to be associated with it, because it's a spiritual document, put it that way, not a legal document. Now, if you look at the document, you'll see that there's different sections. We have the kind of principles in the first part. It says, we, the participants of the UNESCO World Press Freedom Day, gathered here at the National Library in Riga, Latvia. And then it goes on to, we affirm further principles. And then it says, on the basis of that, we call on UNESCO member states. This is page 2. We encourage them to do certain things. We call on other actors, the journalists, professionals, support associations, media outlets, internet intermediaries, social media practitioners, and we call on UNESCO. That's on the last page. So these are some of the themes that came out. Some of them maybe are not strong enough for some of you. Maybe some of you think they're too strong. But I really hope that everybody here finds these things, to be, at least you can live with them, because this represents some kind of milestone of what we discussed. So I don't want us to get into any detailed debate where somebody says, please change this word, and somebody says, please change that word. So I would say, if anybody has any edits like that they think are not fundamental, but which can make some improvement, please come to us as the Secretariat. Those I think we can do quite easily. This is not the Bible. It can be slightly amended. At the same time, if anybody has any fundamental things, I think that we'd have to go back to the committee, and that would be difficult, because then the committee can't get back to you. So I'm making an appeal to you to support me and support your fellows and say this Riga Declaration is something we can adopt as the participants of the conference. So, can I propose, and can I get, by a loud acclamation, that the participants here adopt the Riga Declaration? Do you adopt it? Okay, well, thank you very much. We have something that's of value. There's something here that is a record of this event, and there's something that the next World Press Freedom Day will also look at and try and build on and take forward. And some of you, when you forget these good discussions we've had, you can look at this and it will remind you. And for people who could not come, it's also a great record. So, that's beautiful. We have the Riga Declaration in the National Library, and I think we can be proud of that. And thank you for those who contributed, and thank you to the committee that did the tweaking. So, let me move on then to my personal comments on this conference. This conference, in my experience at UNESCO, which is 3 years, I don't want to be too competitive, but in my limited experience, we had the best technical service here of any conference. We had the best food. We had the best youth newspaper, and I hope you read it. We have had some of the best discussions, and of course we had the best singing, no doubt about that. I'm also pleased that every panel we managed to have a person from Latvia on that panel, chairing the panel or participating in the panel, because this was an opportunity for people who come here to learn about Latvia and for Latvians to exchange with people. So that was a great achievement. I think we were not a flying circus. We parachute in and go out. We really made connections with Latvia. And thank you to all the Latvian participants on that. Now, I particularly just want to mention a few key institutions that have to be thanked. The Office of the Presidency, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Culture, the Stockholm School of Economics, the University of Latvia, the Latvian Association of Journalists, because them and the library they paid for all this, okay? There was not a registration fee here. We didn't have to pay for the venue. We didn't have to pay for the interpretation. We didn't have to pay for the meals. It was paid for by the Latvian taxpayer through the institutions. So thank you, Latvia. Okay, I want to make a special shout out also to 3 other groups, the Youth Newsroom, all those young participants. You were wonderful. I want to thank also all the local and international partners, many of them, if you look at the back page of the program, you see who they are, and of course you've met them. Many, many groups that made this thing possible. They came themselves, they staged events, they brought delegates. This was wonderful. I also want to thank the jury of the Press Freedom Prize who made that possible and made an excellent choice and came here and gave their support and contributed. And lastly, I want to thank my personal secretariat. As you know, I have 2 amazing colleagues, Ming in particular. Is he around, Ming? Okay, may I wish that all of you can have 10 Mings in your organization. You will achieve miracles. Then I have my colleague Sylvie Kudre, who you also know, who works with Ming, also fantastic. And then there are other colleagues here, Faxon Banda, Elton Grizzle, Taria Tertia, Adeline Hulin, wonderful colleagues I work with, so I want to thank them. So this has been an experience, and I believe we will take forward this Riga Declaration, we will take forward these discussions. The Riga Declaration is very important, influencing the Sustainable Development Agenda. I promise you, we at UNESCO will certainly take that forward. Now, I would like to hand over to Ms. Rožukalne to make some final statements, and then I'm going to invite our 2 closing speakers to the stage.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Berger. Well, you have already greeted almost everyone, but anyhow, I would say that this is a really great privilege to greet all of you at the very final of this inspiring World Press Freedom Day conference. It's even more symbolic moment because today is the 25th anniversary of Latvia's Declaration of Independence, and you may know that the press freedom played a crucial role during the independence restoration process. Being involved in this conference preparation process almost for 1 year, I took it like a once-a-lifetime opportunity that shouldn't be ruined till the end of this day. And I hope that the members of association they were really brilliant during those different kind of discussions. Therefore, on behalf of Association of Latvian Journalists, I would like to express my really great gratitude to all organizers, participants, to all journalists. As a journalist, I have a habit to look critically and self-critically to all events. And remembering the meetings and really good discussions, looking back to those 3 days, I try to imagine the criteria that could be used to evaluate this conference. And some standard criteria came to my mind at the beginning, like the venue and the quality of food, which is always like important. But there is one more important criteria, the benefits of the conference content. Therefore, I really hope that each one of the participants and each of the audience members have found at least one thought, at least one idea, or one story that will help to solve professional problems or to answer very important professional questions that help to find a new way how to improve the quality of journalism. Because only through the change and growth, journalism can thrive. Thank you.
Well, thank you, dear colleagues. And now we will vacate the stage, and I call on Her Excellency Ms. Baiba Braže, the ambassador. She's ambassador in status because although she's here in Latvia, she's also ambassador to Indonesia. And she's chair of the steering committee. And she is the senior person in the foreign ministry who helped make all this happen. Her, and then also His Excellency Mr. Olli Kantanen, ambassador of Finland to Latvia, who will also entice us about next year. Dear colleagues, please come on board. And afterwards, I'm going to post my letters.
Stand, actually. Is this working? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Good. Well, this has come to an end. This really is the last event. And we started with all you being quite sleepy on Friday morning, I remember. So there was a rush for the coffee after the first session, after the opening session. Now I hope after this real closure, we will still have some time to reflect about what has been good, what has not been good. Also, we would highly appreciate both, from participants, speakers, moderators, any comments you might have on whatever subjects that happened here in this building. Please let us know. I'm sure Ming would also appreciate comments about the program and else, whatever comments you might have, as that will be important also for the future organizers, which is Finland. Being our dear and close, almost neighbor, and sharing the same kind of addiction for the outdoors life when it's possible, and kind of introvert character in a way, and being very measured in our statements, we feel very, very like Finns. There is one other important feature that connects us, which is ice hockey, which is actually the World Ice Hockey Championship takes place now. And I hope your team is doing slightly better than ours, but and it's important because there are only about 20 good hockey teams globally, so this is very kind of exclusive club. But I would like to thank, again, everyone here. I would really like to thank the teams that we had here at the Foreign Ministry, my human rights people and the international relations people, our consular department, who enabled you to all come here, because reminding you there are 81 countries represented at this conference, 500 participants, not now, but overall. And with only about 40 diplomatic representations in the world, it was quite an exercise to get visas for all of you and to get you all here. We would like to thank the UNESCO team who enabled that. That was fantastic, all the cooperation and everything that was going on. Our UNESCO national team, the Ministry of Culture, everybody, and of course supporters and organizers, but most of all you journalists, those for whom and with whom we did this. Without you, Latvia being a democratic society wouldn't be like it is, and we wish the same kind of development that we had also for every country in the world, that actually people can live in a free and democratic society, and that there is a future, that there is a bright future for all of us together on this little planet that we have. With this, I'm giving this little token, which is typical Latvian thing, to the ambassador of Finland. And what it is, it's a whistle. This whistle multiplies the voice. You have to have certain skill to use it. You have to kind of have the intention to use it. So essentially, it's good for journalists. Let the journalism thrive.
Thank you, Baiba. Thank you, all of you, all the participants, for building up this event which has been a great experience also for me personally. And that's why I'm going also to speak for a while, just a couple of tens of minutes, a couple of hours. No, I'm not going to speak for that long, but still I'm going to make a couple of points before I let you all to enjoy Riga for the rest of the day. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to UNESCO and our Latvian hosts for the vibrant and great conference organized here in Riga during the past few days. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Latvia and to congratulate the Latvian co-hosts for today's 25th anniversary of renewed independence. This is a very important day for all of us and for Latvians. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me, on behalf of Finland, to take on the challenge to prepare for and co-host the UNESCO World Press Freedom Day event in 2016. We in Finland do it with joy and for several reasons. First, Finland is a strong supporter of UNESCO's unique UN mandate for freedom of expression and press freedom. Finland highly values UNESCO's tireless work for diversity, freedom of expression and press freedom, both online and offline. Second, we want to support a diverse and free press and quality journalism. We are very proud that the Reporters Without Borders organization has ranked Finland #1 in their Press Freedom Index, now for 4th consecutive year. Finland wants to continue to work for safety of journalists, the issue of impunity, which both are essential preconditions to vibrant democratic societies. These preconditions include also openness, freedom of and access to information, the right to seek and receive information. Therefore, next year we will also celebrate with you the 250th anniversary of the first ever freedom of information law, adopted by the then Swedish Parliament in 1766 on the initiative of a Finnish member of that parliament, the priest and Enlightenment philosopher Anders Chydenius. Third, freedom to think, to speak, to create. We see these freedoms as essential human rights and values. Freedom of expression and mutual respect in culturally diverse environments brings ideas into meaningful dialogue. We are eager to continue this dialogue and exchange of ideas with all of you. Fourth, in 2016 we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the adoption of the UN Convention on Civil and Political Rights, an international legal foundation for the freedom of expression. And in 2016 we'll do this also as part of the UN's Universal Post-2015 Development Agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, these are just few good reasons for us to host the next event. And on this solid basis, I remain very optimistic on the success of the preparations for the next UNESCO World Press Freedom Day event and bid you all warmly welcome to Helsinki in next May in 2016. Thank you, paldies, and welcome.
And of course, Latvia and Finland being also singing nations, you will still have the final performance this time on the screen. And that comes from the Latvian song and dance tradition that is inscribed on the principal list of the UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage of humanity. And the song is called, and that again, it's essentially what Latvia is about, the sun, the thunder, and Daugava. Daugava being the river that we consider nurturer and the river of destiny, the sun being the mother and the thunder being the father. So let's enjoy the performance.
Amus